In Canada, there's a 24/7 toll-free hotline for people who have been triggered by governmental websites. No, seriously, not joking. Let's explore. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Freedom Alternative. Now, when I first saw this piece of news, I thought it was a joke. I mean, sure, Canada has cucked Trudeau as Prime Minister and it's 2016, but still, come on, nobody, and especially not a government, can be that bloody idiotic. Well, I was wrong. Canadian government creates trigger warning hotline for people distressed by Canadian government, titles Breitbart. The Liberal Canadian government led by Justin Trudeau has again made a mockery of itself. After siding with social justice warriors in declaring Gamergate to be a sexist movement, along with more recently refusing to respond to any future attack on its citizens by ISIS, they have bowed to the leftist ideal of trigger warnings. According to MRC-TV, they've created a national crisis hotline for anyone triggered by reading certain government websites. The warning on the top of the website for the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls informs the reader that it may cause trauma due to its troubling subject matter, and that the Canadian government recognizes the need for safety measures to minimize the risk associated with the article. A 24/7 free hotline for people who are a little upset over reading something is a massive waste of taxpayers' money and steps over the line from being generally courteous to viewers or readers into the government providing a security blanket to people who can't handle their feelings. Now we have to ask, what exactly is the next step? So far, the internet has been a good predictor of what mainstream society will accept. Given that there are requests for triggers to be added for things like certain types of food, then soon we may see Mr. Trudeau offering his personal mobile number up to those who felt fat-shamed by government health websites. Only time will tell. Now, I have to ask something else. Does this apply to when a Canadian official explains that the latest honor killing has nothing to do with Islam? I mean, I'm not even Canadian, but I'm personally triggered by that. Also, why does Canada have a national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls? Do Indigenous men and boys don't get murdered? They don't go missing? Ever? Really? Is the Indigenous population of Canada so special that they're the only demographic on Earth where more women than men are being killed? It's a serious question. Because, you see, everywhere on Earth, from Saudi Arabia to Iceland, from Japan to South Africa, and from Chile to Indonesia, and everything in between, it is men who are a lot more likely to be murdered. But hey, maybe the Indigenous population in Canada is more special. But anyway, just like New York's misgendering law, details about that here, this thing could, and dare I say, should be abused as much as possible. It could be trolled to its fullest extent and done mercilessly. The good news is that you can do it from outside of Canada too. The bad news is that from outside of Canada it isn't free of charge. Though from where I am, it costs me around 1 cent per minute. So with €1, I should have quite a lot of fun. These kinds of stupidities must be mocked, ridiculed, shamed, and publicly held in utter contempt for the simple reason that they are a menace to a civilized society, and because they waste valuable taxpayer money on frivolous nonsense. Now, at first I was considering calling in to say that I'm triggered by taxes, but then I noticed that the trigger warning with the number only applies to a section of websites that specifically mention women and girls. And you'll find the list in the low bar. So under these circumstances, it would be quite a shame if someone would find a woman to call in and say she's triggered by the use of the Duluth model in the Canadians' domestic violence industry, wouldn't it? It would be even quite of a bigger shame if all the women, mostly Canadian by the way, in the hashtag Women Against Feminism movement would call in and provide creative ways of being triggered. Yeah, it would be quite problematic if that were to happen. So, 001-844-413-6649. I'll say it again, 001-844-413-6649. Just saying. Talk to y'all later. Thank you for watching.